Recording in progress.
All right, good evening, everyone. The time is now 7 p.m. and we will call to order our meeting for April 1st, 2024. If you all stand, those that can, for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Ms. Hogan, will you do roll call, please?
Councilmember Rounds.
Here.
Councilmember Hall.
Here.
Councilmember Freimark.
Here.
Councilmember Houston.
Here.
Councilmember Smith, Burke, and Dowdy have called in absent.
Okay.
I make a motion to excuse Smith, Dowdy, and Mr. Burke.
I second.
Amanda, you want to take a vote, please?
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark.
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
Okay, with that, they have excused absences. Next, we'll go into proclamation for Arbor Day. I'm here, whereas Arbor Day was first observed in 1872 with the planting of more than 1 million trees in the state of Nebraska. And whereas Washington, the evergreen state, has celebrated Arbor Day since 1917. And whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world. Whereas the City of Woodland is designated as a Tree City USA by the National Arbor Day Foundation. And whereas trees clean the air and water, produce oxygen, reduce stormwater runoff, reduce stormwater runoff, cut heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, reduce erosion and compaction of precious topsoil from water and wind, beautify our neighborhood, reduce stress, and provide food and habitat for wildlife. And now therefore, be it resolved, I, Todd Deinhardt, do hereby recognize the month of April as Arbor Day 2024 in the City of Woodland and urge all citizens to support, to protect our trees and natural areas for the well-being of present and future generations. And I call this observance to the attention of all our citizens of the City of Woodland and celebrate and proclaim the month of April 2024 as Arbor Day. Today, the first day of April 1st, 2024. All right. With that, we will go to communications for not on the agenda item. I have two people here. We'll go in order, and then from there, sorry, my mic wasn't on. Hopefully you could hear me all that. Otherwise, I can go all over. So, Mr. Keith Barlow, come on up, sir.
All right, representing Planners Days tonight, I'm presenting the winner of our art contest, Penny Settles, with a balloon. She already got a $50 check presented to her at school the other day, so that was pretty cool. And so we just want to say thank you. So here's a balloon, and there's a card attached to it. And thanks for helping out Planners Days. And your picture's on the website already, and we probably will put it on some other posters and put it up during Planters Days. So thank you. All right, and our next Planters Days meeting will be the 16th of this month, 6 p.m. at the VFW. If you'd like to come and check it out, see what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations. Mr. Storr, John?
My name is John.
was just, had a question if maybe we put it on the ballot for November to be voted on so I can reopen, or?
So you're referring to putting up on, retail
November.
marijuana sales in the
City
limits.
for C2
C2
for November.
commercial. So, I'll have a discussion here and, any other comments?
No.
Sir, okay. So here, back a couple months ago, we talked about the $70,000 cost that to put on the ballot. So, one of those things, obviously in August, there is a primary, and then in November, there is a presidential election. So if you were to do a ballot measure, obviously you'd have to have all of council to approve that. It would run around $20,000 to do it on one of those. And the reason it's a little bit cheaper than the $70,000 is because obviously every county, every city is participating in those elections. And so then you start dividing it down by the number of people. So if you were wanting to do something on the August primary, you would need to, we would need to file something by May 3rd. And if we wanted to do something by the November primary, you would need to do it by August 6th, I believe, is the primary. So it's that same date, the August 6th timeframe. So I think that's what you're referring to, sir. And so with that, I mean, I don't know that there's conversation here. If somebody has something to,
I think we should put it on the ballot.
so, I mean, I think it's something that you would have to,
Yeah.
send me an email and we
Yeah.
can get it on an agenda item, and, you know, that's the next steps in that, kind of approach, but, okay, go ahead.
John, would you be willing to pay for the expenses associated with that?
Okay, all right. So with that, I'm assuming, Gabe, you will shoot an email and
Yeah,
we'll
I
get
will.
on there?
Yep.
Okay. When I say get it on there, we'll get it as a discussion at a council meeting, not on a ballot.
Yes.
Perfect. Just want to make sure people weren't running out and saying Todd said. Okay, with that, I don't have anything else not on the agenda item. I will open it up. Is there anyone online or in the room here that would like to speak? Come on up, sir.
I'll be super brief. My name's Keenan Harvey. I'm speaking as a citizen. Just want to thank you guys for a fantastic website. I try to watch back all your meetings, and your guys' ease of information and access to your information is fantastic. I wish the same for the city of Kelso, but it's great that you guys have a fantastic website. It's very easy to track. For transparency purposes with some of the older population, it was very, very quick and simple. So thank you.
So, thank you, Keenan, for those comments. I will throw that over to Amanda. She does a great job. She, with several other people, throw it out there. So,
It's very true.
perfect. Thank you. Again, we are shooting for transparency. I know we're not perfect all the time, and there are things that we can always improve on. But again, if there are things that we can work on, feel free to come up and tell us. Anything else for the items not on the agenda? Oh, go ahead.
Quick question. Any reason why other cities couldn't use our template if they so choose?
Amanda.
So we actually have a contract with, I think it's called Web Municode. So they have a very specific template to use. They're very driven towards municipalities and government agencies. That's kind of their wheelhouse. They check all the boxes to make sure we're compliant everywhere. So the design of the website, the templates are already preset. We're just basically plugging information and then making sure information's mapped correctly across the website.
So if we got any requests like that, just refer them to you and you can give them.
Sure? Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay. Any other items not on the agenda? And I don't see anyone online raising their hand. So now items on the agenda. I don't have anybody on here, but is there anyone in the room that would like to speak? Anyone online? It makes it much more entertaining and exciting when we have dialogue and conversation. We're in this together, I keep telling you all that. So, Okay, if there's no dialogue or conversation, I will move to item 7 on the agenda, approval. Do I hear a motion? to
I
approve?
so move.
Second.
Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Frymark,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
All right, next on the agenda is reports of city council. Ms. Rounds?
I went to the Easter egg hunt that the Moose Lodge puts on Saturday, and to watch couple of my great grandkids there. But that's such a nice event that the Moose puts on for the community, and I'd like to thank them again for doing that.
Absolutely, I totally agree. She's being a little short-sighted when she says a couple grandkids.
Well, yeah, there was a lot of them there, but
She's got 19 great-grandkids and 14 grandkids, but who's counting, Carol?
Yeah, I would like to second that. I went for the same reason, to watch my great-granddaughter pick up eggs, and I guess there was like 6,000 eggs, something like that. Those guys did a great job. If you know Moose Lodge people, thank them. I thank the ones I saw working there, and it was excellent. I also wanted to give a shout out to all the pastors in the community for this yesterday for the Easter celebration. I just want to mention Steve Maldine at King's Vineyard, and Mike Morgan at Lewis River Fellowship, Rich Monks over at the Assembly of God, Jonathan Christofferson at the Promise, Kevin Leach at the Presbyterian Church, Scott Lapierre at the Woodland Christian, and Ariosto de Labra at Viña del Rey, Todd Cloud at Grace Community, and Martine Labia at Go Iglesia. All of those guys not only did a wonderful thing with their services yesterday, but they will all be involved in the National Day of Prayer event next month, so that's just a month away. So just a shout out to those guys for all the hard work. That's it.
Great, thank you. I want to go back to the Easter egg hunt and do a kind of a little plug. The Easter egg hunt, Planners Day, the hot summer nights that will be coming up, the Winter Fest, the fishing derby. There are a lot of things that our community has, and individuals pull this together. I plead and ask people, get involved. Go down and involve. I went to the last Planners Day meeting, and you know what? It was an eye-opener that I thought there was hundreds of people. It was a group of 15 or 20 at the most who pulled that together for all of us as a community to come together and have fun. There's an opportunity for each and every one of us. So I just throw that out there as we talk about the Easter egg hunt and things. And it's from picking up garbage to scattering eggs to, contributing. There's something for everyone. Okay? Any other reports to City Council?
I'll handle the.
I'm halfway through my chemo. I'm almost done. So,
Awesome. Good luck, Gabe.
yeah.
Mr. Freemark.
Go ahead.
Nope.
We'll go to the next item.
Okay, next item. Standing committees. Mr. Freemark.
Public Works met today at 6 o'clock. In my judgment, our city's running like a well-greased machine, normal maintenance. Nothing of extreme importance to report, but I got a couple of things here. Everybody knows the Rainy Well was being cleaned up with all that construction work over there the last couple of 3 weeks. That has been completed. And we have changed that cycle from 5 to 10 years down to 3 years. So every 3 years, we're going to have that same cleanup effort, and it went well this particular time. It's done. The new 1.5 million gallon reservoir, number 4, the bid's been awarded to Advanced Excavating Specialist, with groundbreaking starting this fall and completion hopefully by the end of next year, 2025. Stay tuned for news on that. Did want to mention that the hydro testing is an ongoing program that they have. Every 3 years, they go around to a third of all the fire hydrants, flush them out and check and make sure they're operational, so we can depend on them should we ever need for a local fire in that area. So our water hydrants are being well looked after. If one in your neighborhood, you can have a high confidence factor that it'll work if it's ever necessary. Sewer department, I do want to give a shout out to our operator, Dan. He passed his second Group 2 certification. That means he can operate the plant alone there at it. That's a big promotion for him. Congratulations, Dan. City's counting on you. All of the yearly reporting of the sewer and wastewater plant has been met with the state. No negative feedback on any of that so far. Streets, we're all interested in curb painting. That is now on a 3-year cycle. Every third year we do a third of the streets in town, with every other year a cycle going to the parade route, just so we'll have a nice looking clean downtown city for visitors on it. As far as facilities goes, there's nothing to report that's out of the ordinary, normal operations. Like I say, I think your city is doing a fine job in all the public works. If we ever have any dissent on that, please let the committee know. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions from council?
I have one question. Out where the new RV park is, that street out there by the the place that Reed's Automotive,
Belmont Loop?
Belmont Loop, is that a city street or is that?
Yes, it's
It
a
is.
city street. And
There's a huge pothole out there, huge,
I feel like tore it
huge
up.
pothole.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we need to let the guys know so that, I know they'll fix it if we let them know, but I didn't know whether it was a city street or if it was their option,
Okay.
so.
Didn't they do a big repair there not too long ago? They had the
Yeah.
road all tore up, I think.
Okay, I have noted that, and I will make sure and let them
Okay.
know tomorrow.
I appreciate
Um,
it.
Since you bring up Belmont Loop, I do want you all to be aware, there were some campers in that RV park that were longer than the 90 days. They have moved, so we do have a new, fresh cycle of
Okay.
individuals in there. I drove through there yesterday and checked on the status, and then a couple of them. So some of them moved, so we're making progress on our commitment that it's in a short term. Okay? Any other questions for? Okay. Next item, reports of advisory committees. Chamber will come next month, or next meeting in 2 weeks. I don't see anyone else. Okay, so let's move to our next item, reports to city officers. Chief is on vacation today. Travis, do you have anything, sir?
So since our last meeting, we've had two big events. One is the Logan's Landing appeal. The decision has been issued by the hearings examiner, and the city won on all of its arguments, so the appellant was denied their appeal. And so we're waiting to see whether they appeal it to Cowlitz County Superior Court. And then the other one...
So, Travis, one
Yep.
second there. Is everyone familiar when we say Logan's Landing? Logan's Landing,
No, they're not, so.
you want to explain which Logan's Landing are the commercial and the apartments up top? Yep.
It's the mixed use that was just south of Belmont Loop on Franklin Loop. Right now, it's just a little stub street. And they proposed, before the zoning change, they proposed a mixed use that had ground floor commercial with residential above it. And the proposal was to have a commercial parking garage on the bottom floor with apartments above it. And we, in our decision, we denied parking as a commercial use, that they needed to have commercial space, whether it's office or retail. It had to be an active commercial case. And that's what was appealed, and the examiner upheld us that parking lots are not considered commercial uses by themselves.
Yep. So, thank you for the clarification for everyone.
Yep. And then the other decision that was issued, I'm sorry, that question totally threw me off the tracks, and I don't remember what the other one was, but I'll try and remember before the meeting's over. What's that?
Is it Trammell?
Oh, Trammell Crow Corporation, that's correct. So it's a 40-acre project out on the other side of the train tracks across from the dog food factory, and they got approval for about an 800 square foot building and about 680,000 and 360,000 square foot warehouses. So they will be rebuilding a portion of North Pekin, and they will be building a portion of Rose Way.
Okay. Any questions for Travis? Okay, moving on to the mayor's report. So, couple things on the upcoming events. Commissions, so want to walk and touch with these for a couple seconds. Civil Service Commission, for the community and for people to be aware. We have a vacancy out there. Janice Graham's term expired on February 16th. She's welcome to reapply. And it's a 6-year commitment. Meet monthly. It's not that they meet every month. And there's 3 members on the commission. Applications are due by April 12th. And that commission there does a lot of the hiring and things with the police department and the guild. The Park and Recreation Board has 2 seats available. 4-year commitment. They meet quarterly. There are 6 members on that commission. Pat's term expired on December 31st, 2023, and Susan's expired on the 19th of February, 2024. Those applications are due by the 5th. This week for those 2 positions. And then the Planning Commission, trying to get ahead of these things here instead of always being behind. Brian's term expires on the 18th of May, and so we're accepting applications through the 10th of May. And that's a 4-year commitment, 5 members on there. So if anyone is interested in any of those items, go to our website, fill out an application. Would love to see several people on that. So next thing I want to talk about in our mayor's message here, and follow me along, is late fees and shut-off. So we talked about this at our council retreat here in the end of March, and I want to bring it here so that it's well documented and well aware. We had a discussion, and we are going to implement late fees and shut-offs. This was not a decision that was made at the retreat, so I want to be clear. We had a resolution 750 from May 15th of 2023 that allowed us to do shut-offs and late fees. But it was just a matter of when and how we were going to implement it. So I want to cover a couple things here. There's $500,000 of late balances. And when I say late balances, this is from 1 day late all the way to many months late. We had the report ran after the 15th of March. So payments were due on the March 15th, so we ran it after that and before our latest bills were put in the system so we could get a true amount. 1 to 30 days, we have 237 meters. We've got 2,200 meters in the city. 31 days to 60 days past due, we've got about 83 meters. 61 days to 90 days late, we have 37 meters. And 91 plus days late, we have 129 meters. So in total, 22% of our meters are past due. And like I said, we are authorized to do this, and I want to walk through here very clearly so it's documented on here, people hear what is going to happen, so that if they call the city hall when they start seeing late fees and things, that the community knows, call Todd Deinhardt. Don't get all upset with our employees at the city who are implementing and doing what we as a council and elected officials have asked them to do. This is on us. Feel free to call me. But I don't want them being the grunt of it. So, any late bills after April 15th will be charged $20 or 10% of the outstanding balance, which is allowed through our resolution and our ordinances. So we're giving everybody a warning now. Bills are due April 15th. If you're not 100% paid up, it'll be a $20 late fee or 10% of outstanding balance, whichever is larger. June 6th, we will start doing shut-offs. And why June 6th? Our ordinance says that if you are not paid before the 5th day of the following calendar month. So if balances are due the April 16th, if they are late on the May 15th, they need to be paid up on the 5th of June to avoid a shut-off. So we're ultimately giving a warning now, June 6th, that we will start doing shut-offs. April 15th will be late fees. There's a slight exception here I want people to be clear of. If your account is $2,500 or less past due, we will offer up a 3-month payment plan. So you will pay 20% now, you'll pay your current balance, and then the remainder past due you can pay over 3 months. But each of those 3 months going forward, you will need to pay your current balance plus your additional kicker, and you'll be charged late fees. But again, I think it's tough for a resident to come up with $2,500 right out of the gate. So we agreed 3 months. If your past due balance is up to $4,000, from $2,500 to $4,000, we will let you do a 4-month payment plan. But again, you're gonna pay 20% up front, and you will pay a 10% late fee, but you will have 4 months to pay your past due and keep current on your current charges. If your balance is from $4,000 to $6,000, it gets everything cleaned up. And when I came into office, it was really clear to me that I wanted to get things, boom, this is the way it is. I appreciate council supporting and saying, yep, let's do it. So I will stop there. Normally we're not supposed to ask questions, but if there's questions, anybody in the audience or whatever, Ms. Smith, come on up.
I have a question.
Right here. Fire away.
Okay, so, Meinl, our last bill, we had, no, the one previous, we had a previous balance, but we'd already paid it. What happens
So
there?
I don't want to break confidentiality, so are you okay with me using your billing
Yeah.
issue?
Yeah,
Okay, so the Smiths paid with a debit card, an electronic check that had cleared their bank, but it took 7 to 10 days to show up as paid on their bill from Meinl. So if they had paid it on the 15th when it was due, which they legitimately would be current, it would have shown up late. We have had our meetings every Wednesday with Meinl, and they are working on fixing that and shortening it down. However, if somebody comes in and says, well, I have a late charge here, but I paid it on the 15th, we will reverse that out.
all right.
Perfectly legit,
Okay.
but we're well aware of that, and we're
Okay.
working on that.
Okay. Thank
And
you.
Meinl has been great on this part and working with us. Okay?
Thank you.
Uh-huh. I didn't want you to say, don't talk about my bill, so, okay?
No.
Okay, so that will be taking place. The next thing that I really want to touch on really quickly is city-owned buildings. Part of our retreat, we talked about those. So one of the things was the 236 Davidson Street, Davidson Avenue, and 230 Davidson Avenue. So you got City Hall, and then you have Public Works, which is right around the corner. Had the discussion, and council was very supportive of what I was looking to do, and it's to move those 4 individuals that are over in the Public Works building over into City Hall. I think it makes sense when a community member walks in, has a question, it's not like, ooh, you're in the wrong building. Hey, we're all right here. Will it be somewhat tight? I don't know that it will be. Hopefully we'll, some of our paperwork will get stored electronically. We will clean up the offices a little bit, and then that will leave us a building that we'll need to figure out what to do. We owe $350,000 on this building. We purchased it in 2021. Again, it's one of those things, let's right-size the community and what we're gonna do with our assets. We're still making monthly payments.
Make a motion to approve consent items.
Second.
Any discussion about that?
No discussion.
No.
Okay. Vanda?
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston.
Aye.
Okay. With that, we'll move into our action items. First action item is action item C, Clerk-Treasurer Approve vouchers. This is the vouchers directory for March 31st, 2024, and payroll of March 25th, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion on that? Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
Okay, with that, we will move to our next action item D, ordinance number 1556, which is to update the Woodland Municipal Code Chapter 13.28.010, the backflow and cross connections, final reading.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 1556.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that?
It needs to be done, so.
Okay,
I would agree, yes.
okay. With that, Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
That motion passed. Moving into action item E, ordinance number 1557, amend city council rules and procedures, first reading.
Make motion to approve ordinance number 1557.
I'll second.
Any discussion on that?
We talked about this at our retreat, and I think everybody is all on board for what this city rules and procedures reading is.
I think we had pretty much unanimous agreement on it.
Yep.
We even
We all
supported a
liked it,
couple
Your
of
Honor.
entries on it, Mr. Mayor.
Agreed, just so everyone knows what it is. We kept the 5 minutes, we kept, and I'm trying my best, Councilmember Hall, Ms. Rath, I'm trying, the formality. But what we did do in this here is the citizen comment will be with each action item. So as we have it,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer.
Aye.
okay, action item F, ordinance 1558, create Fund 338 South Pekin Overlay Project, first and final reading.
Make a motion to approve ordinance number 1558.
Second.
It's easier to handle the project if you do a separate fund for it, so it's just easier on the accounting part.
Yep, absolutely agree.
Agree.
Any discussion?
Numbers look right to me, and I agree with the concept.
Okay. Ms. Hogan?
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Farmer,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds.
Aye.
And that ordinance passes. Moving into action item G, resolution number 777, update the Public Works Director salary step plan, final reading.
Make a motion to approve resolution number 777.
I'll second.
Any discussion from council?
Well, we've got to get our rates up a little bit, or we're never going to keep anybody, or we're not even going to get anybody. So it's imperative that we do something about them.
Agreed. We need to keep up with the Joneses or Kelso or Longview or other various cities. And I think it's a reasonable amount.
Okay, just so everyone, I want to everyone here on council as well as our community to understand how these numbers were derived and what was there. This backup is on the spreadsheet. What we did, I did, we looked and said, okay, 35 cities. Let's look at cities that are comparable to our size. Woodland has roughly 6,500 residents. So then I said, okay, 3,500 to 9,500. So plus or minus 3,000 residents. That gives you 35 cities within the state of Washington. And they gave us a high-low of what they pay their public works director on average. Then I said, okay, let's go to what if it's just 20% more or 20% less citizens. That knocks it down to 14 cities within the state of Washington. And that gives you that row of what they pay a high and low of their public works director, and you can see they pay, you know, around 134,000 high. Then I said, well, let's just break it down to the I-5 corridor with cities our size roughly, and I said, okay, you got Ridgefield, you got La Center, Kalama, Chehalis, Castle Rock. Let's look at those 8 cities to see where we're at of comparison, and that gives you a salary, a high range of 151,000. And then I said, well, let's just take out the Ridgefield and the Longview a little bit smaller and say, okay, we got La Center, Kalama, Castle Rock, Chehalis. Very, very comparable to our city. We're a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, and you can see what their salary is in a step 9. And so then I just said, hey, let's just take it all and average it, and it comes down to, and that's where our average, step 1 is 109,000 all the way to a step 9 of 135,000. And that last row is an increase, decrease. So our budget was built on that public works director making 120,000 a year. So when we make an offer, if we offer more than 120,000, it will show, okay, we're over budget this much, but again, we would be over budget, but we wouldn't be over budget because we've gone 4 months without a public works director. But I just wanted people to be transparent and be able to see, okay, how did we come to these numbers? I do agree, we really need to be competitive, and you get what you pay for. So with that, no other discussion. Amanda, do you want to take? Ms. Hogan, I'm sorry.
Councilmember Houston,
Aye.
Councilmember Freimark,
Aye.
Councilmember Rounds,
Aye.
Councilmember Hall.
Aye.
Okay, the ayes have it. Moving into workshop. Workshop item H, commercial property assess, clean energy and resilience. Travis and team, come on up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. So we have a project here in town. We reached out to the planning department to talk about the property asset loan program. The property asset loan program is issued by banks or different funding sources, finance department. We're bound to, whether we like it or not, we have to follow that, or we don't get our permit and we don't get our entitlements and we don't have a project. So by virtue of that, as long as we follow that, we're able to apply for it. What intrigued me about the program is with the recent administration and the rates going through the roof, it's more competitive. The rates are typically the 10-year treasury plus 3.5% to 4%. So it's staying in the 7 to 8% range. And you can get interest only, or you can, when rates are tougher, everybody's trying to make their capital work and make their business run. So it really enables them to get a program to ease the pain they're going through. I think it'd be advantageous to other borrowers. You're not mandated to use it, but they'll find out about it, and I think it's good for the city. It brings in more business and tax base.
Does this create a problem for the people that are not all electric, if they're
No.
gas?
No. Whatever the code is that you require at the city of Woodland, we have to follow it. You don't have to do gas or electric. It's just whatever.
In order to get this program?
No, you're not mandated to do that.
Okay.
Because I'm more for gas. quite
I am
frankly.
too,
So
but-
am I.
Anybody else?
Any other comments, questions?
I have a comment. I read through the CPACER program online, the state's presentation. I read the background. You know what? It's bad policy.
I kind of agree.
It's bad policy because it promotes bad action and it penalizes good action by making an uneven playing field. If you want to be in the CPACER program, you have to be able to demonstrate that you are not using fossil fuels. That's the way it reads.
That's not accurate.
Well, it's what it says on the CPACER program.
That's not accurate. It's not a green program. It's a code program. And literally by following the program, anybody, whether it's us, or John Doe or Jane Doe, if you follow the program, which is your program, your codes, if if you don't follow it, you're not allowed to get your loan. But if you don't have in the city of Woodland, and there's a lot of codes, I'm amongst a lot of people here, but I'm a Republican and a capitalist. I don't agree with them. And we're bound to follow them. So as long as I follow the code, I can submit my plans and get it. But if I don't, I won't get it. So there's nothing I have to change, nothing I have to do different.
The way I read the program is it is only for those, it only can be, the project can only qualify if it uses, what do they call it, renewable energy, so that gas would not qualify.
Gas does qualify. So I used it on the waterfront in Vancouver. Didn't start out with PACE, went to PACE, because what happens is all the windows that you're supposed to use now, that's in your code, all the HVAC, which are terrible anymore, electrical, plumbing, those are all part of it. It's not a fossil fuel issue. It's really just the compliance that is in the code that we follow when I submit to your planning department. It's not fossil fuel. And we can get you more information on it if you want it.
Yeah,
It's not just one lender.
I would like to go through it and see more
Yeah,
information,
yeah.
because what I read on the state site is very clearly against fossil fuels. And it's also, if you read the website, it's misleading and it's also inaccurate. It makes some false statements. It says it will reduce operating costs. Any fool knows you can use gas and it will be cheaper than electricity. So to say
100%.
that electricity
100%.
is reducing operating costs, that's a lie.
Well,
So,
I would agree with you 100%. I'm more for gas. And quite frankly, I'd go on record. A lot of these codes that were followed, that we have to follow in the city jurisdiction of Woodland or any of the other counties, we're mandated to. I don't like them either. But you're not mandated to use the program, but I would tell you there's probably people right now, because the rates are so far up, that will use the program because they can take advantage of it. And they probably feel the same way you do, Terry, or I do. They probably look at it and go, it's just crap. But, you know, you speak frankly, you look at it and you're like, why do I want to do that? But it's the system they've put in place, and I wouldn't be standing here if I couldn't have got my plans approved by the city of Woodland. So I happen to be the first. I suspect if you guys do adopt the ordinance that everybody else does, you're really adopting an ordinance that you're already following code for. We can't stop it. So when you say it's kind of crap and I say it's crap, we just have to follow the ordinance. It's kind of it's the deal. It's the price of tea in China, whether we like it or not. And we know the state's changed a lot here in Washington.
well, I would like to see that additional information, because what I would like to see is verification that someone wanting to heat with gas, cook with gas, and, you know, in maybe it's a residential facility or whatever, or a restaurant, whatever. Anyone wanting to use natural gas will not be excluded from using the CPACER program. And the way I read it, they would be.
I've got buildings all over that I've financed it with, and I think the business park that I have now has gas. And they can't make you do that. They can't at all. Just the items that are required under their audit, they do an audit. And the lender makes you fill out the form. And what they pretty much do is they take your plans that you guys approve and say, did you follow it? And they just go down the checkbox. So I'm with you. I mean, the only jurisdictions I've seen that have not wanted to use gas, I know Clark County did it. We did an apartment project down there, and the council decided, you know, when I was buying my first house in the 90s, gas was the stuff, right? We all remember. They don't want gas. They want it all electric. Now, they haven't done it to commercial, because I can't imagine restaurants trying to cook without gas. It would be terrible. So, yeah, and different lenders can offer it. Any lender can offer it, and they can do it for single-family homes. They can do it for duplexes. They can do it for gas stations. The group we're using is out of Atlanta, just because I happen to have a relationship with them, but there's lenders and banks all over. But if you're interested in talking to that person or getting some data on it, I'd get it for you.
Yeah, it's mainly that gas would be allowed.
Yeah, I'll get
because-
some confirmation for you.
Because as far as the instrument itself, I agree, that's an innovative instrument.
Yeah, I'll get, the guy's name's Robert Lowe. I'll get him to get the information for you, and I can pass it on to your planning so you have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can do that, because that's the only showstopper we see, and I didn't find it.
It would be
but
for
I'm
me,
trusting
too.
Terry, he came up with it.
Yeah.
And I would need to get around that one limitation before. I
Great.
could vote.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay.
Perfect.
You just want to know that it doesn't prohibit gas. You want to
Exactly.
affirm what I said.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So, Mr. Goddard.
One of the things I wanted to point out, and that is with the new energy code, there are multiple paths to solving your energy calculation standards, and one of them might be to do electrical heating or electrical ranges and gas electrical stove, reduce the amount of operating costs and the amount of energy needed to run that building throughout the year, which would ultimately be a net savings in energy that's needed to support that building.
Excellent. Any other questions, comments?
That's helpful. This is just a workshop, obviously,
Yes.
but it would be helpful to know, just to nail that down.
Yeah, I'll get it tomorrow and get it to your team.
Good.
Thank you very
so
much, Council
Appreciate it.
Mayor.
No, thank you for coming out. I
Appreciate it.
appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. With that, next workshop item. Periodic Comprehensive Plan Update, Kickoff Workshop.
Okay, so I wanted to let you know that we are going to start doing outreach and engagement with the community associated with the comprehensive plan update. And the first stage of that is the presentation that I have for you today. I'm not actually going to give that full presentation. I just wanted it introduced to you so that when I start presenting it in the community, you will have a heads up ahead of time. If you want to talk about some of these issues tonight, I'm more than prepared to. But essentially, this is kind of a, sorry, let me get this centered so you can see it. The comprehensive plan is essentially the city's 20-year plan for our growth, and it establishes goals and policies for how the development is going to occur, making sure that we meet our infrastructure needs and that we are providing the public services that are required. It describes how the city will be consistent with state laws, regional and county-wide plans and policies, and the needs and expectations for the people of Woodland. So that's kind of why we have a comprehensive plan. Now, what is a comprehensive plan in this case? The Growth Management Act requires that cities and counties review and update their comprehensive plans every 10 years. Ours was done in 2015. We did a little revisit in 2019 when we had 8 applicants who actually looked at making changes to the comprehensive plan. Only 3 of those got approved, and we ended up not looking at expanding our urban growth boundary. These updates must comply with new state laws and other regional plans. So we are actually covered by 2 plans, the Cowlitz County Plan and the Clark County Plan. Both counties have regional planning policies that we have to give a nod to. And Woodland's update is actually required by June 30th of 2020. Sorry. That actually should be 2025. Sorry about that.
It is 2020.
Oh, sorry. My eyes are not. So there's some recent legislative changes that are going to be adopted or discussed in this round of comprehensive plan. Specifically, changes to the way communities plan for housing. So we need to look at providing a variety of housing incomes or at different income levels. And we did some work a couple years ago with our housing inventory and our housing needs assessment. So we kind of have an idea of what our housing situation is. We need to consider how to accommodate permanent supportive housing, transitional housing, and emergency housing. We also need to identify racially disparate impacts, displacement and exclusion in housing, and to begin to do those. So that's under House Bill 1220, and 1181 requires planning for resilience. And so we've done a large chunk of this last year when we adopted our climate resilience chapter. And so we should be in cruise mode on this part because it's one of the major things that pretty much every other jurisdiction across the state is wrestling with, and it's a big nasty wrestling match. So luckily we don't have to deal with that as much as they do. So there's a proposed project schedule. This is available on the city's website, and we've updated that. So if you have any questions, you can take a look. But essentially, we are working to initiate an envision, and we are reviewing background information, doing the analysis with the consultant, community visioning, which is what we're moving into, and then some land use scenarios once we've done the analysis and talked about the vision. And then we will work on the physical update of the comprehensive plan, getting the paperwork done, doing the environmental checklist, and getting that processed. And then bringing it back to the council. So we've got a schedule laid out. You approved a public participation plan at the last couple meetings ago. You gave me the okay for engaging the public. So that is also available on the website if anyone has any questions. Now, what I will be doing with the...
So, Travis, one
Yep.
second. Can you go back to that slide?
Okay.
Just so people are aware, this is your opportunity to give input. We hear a lot of things about growth, development, traffic, road. I mean, now is your opportunity. We will have open houses. Travis will be hitting the road and hitting the, pounding the pavement. No pun intended here, but to reach as many citizens and community members as we possibly can. Now is your opportunity. You can see from May and through till August will be opportunities. So I encourage everybody to show up and participate.
Thank you. So the exercise that will be taken out to the community is the discussion about our community vision. And we are especially interested in talking to or finding out what the citizens think. What is it I love most about Woodland? What Woodland really needs is, and in the future I hope Woodland has. So those are some kind of visioning exercises that we are going to be asking people to write down in a phrase or two or in a few words answers to those questions so that we can start getting into that idea of what the community is looking for. Now, the vision principles are laid out in our existing comprehensive plan, and it says Woodland is a small, relatively affordable, full-service community enhanced by proximity to regional, outdoor, and metropolitan resources. The city will maintain a small-town community identity based around livable neighborhoods and quality schools while accommodating moderate growth. The city will prioritize future expansion of industrial and commercial economic opportunities to attract family wage jobs in the community and commercial services for residents. And the city will expand infrastructure to serve planned development and will maintain adequate levels of service to support the current and future community. And lastly, the city will cultivate environmental assets like Horseshoe Lake and the Lewis River for both recreational use in the form of parks and trails and environmental protection. So that is the vision that was drafted in 2015, and I think part of what this effort is to evaluate whether we still think that represents the community vision for what our residents want. So part of that will be a few exercises at these meetings to talk about how well do you think these principles reflect Woodland today, and if Woodland continues to develop as it has been, would those principles be achieved? What about these principles resonates with you, and is there anything missing? And so that's essentially the first step of this outreach, is to get out to the community and talk about that vision. So any questions?
Questions from council?
When's your first meeting?
So we actually are booked on April 9th to go to the Chamber of Commerce and do a presentation right after the Planters Day Princesses get their chance to sell as many raffle tickets as they can. We'll have everybody get up and start working on this exercise. We have a second opportunity to meet with the chambers at their after hours on the 18th. And that's the night of the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission will also be doing the same exercise as part of the Planning Commission discussion. So those are the three that I have scheduled. I've also reached out to many of the organizations and the churches in town to see whether they are interested in having me come out to any of their events or organizations and spend some time with them. So I might be out on at a few churches on Sundays or during the week if they have like men's groups or women's groups that they'd like me to come sit in on. And then also anyone who runs a homeowners association, I'd be more than happy to come spend some time at your homeowners events and do that exercise with them as well. So I'll also be scheduling regular open houses. So if you know me from last year, I held probably 10 of these last year, and people got sick and tired of me holding them. So I've taken the last 6 months off, well, last few months off, and we'll get back to providing that opportunity for people to come in.
Okay.
So Director, Goddard, your next meeting is April the 9th at noon at the Oak Tree in the regular chamber Tuesday meetings.
Yes.
Any other comments? Anyone from the audience online? All right, with that, it is 7:59 and we will exit workshop.
Make a motion to end the meeting.
And right now it is 7:59 and we will adjourn our meeting.